So what do you think flew under the radar this year? What was the one thing that you like are screaming at people to listen to but they're not listening to it?
Mine is Tori Moi. Tori Moi, I think people know him from certain songs like Omaha or just his beats alone. And I think at every college party that I've been to, someone has played one Tori Moi song and I'm like, hey, you know that person, you should listen to like their newer stuff. And they go, oh no, I just like this one song. But he came out with this album Boo Boo after a recent breakup, and everything, just song after song, is just another like track that's fire. And call me like super indie, but it's perfect to listen to at any moment.
I think the album that flew under the radar for me was definitely Catch These Vibes by PNB Rock. I know that only came out probably like a month ago, but it's one of those things that has like a lot of great features, a lot of good beats, and like it's one of those albums you can listen to from start to finish and kind of like get lost in it. So I definitely encourage people to go out and listen to that if you haven't.
For me, I mean, it was Daniel Caesar's album. I think that, like I was just saying, that whole vibe has been so prevalent this year, and R&B has, as a genre, grown so much this year. And I think that he's like representative of that as well. I don't think that he gets enough credit as some of these other heavyweights that we've talked about in terms of the genre.
I think Jhené Aiko's album Trip really flew under the radar. It's like an hour and a half long, so I can understand why some people might be a little put off by it. It takes a lot to digest, but it's a really beautiful album. Got a lot of good vibes on it. It really traces her through like the journey of like learning to come to terms with her brother's death. She lost her brother a couple of years ago, so that's kind of like her trip and like going through and learning how to come to terms with that. It's a really beautiful album. And Charli XCX's mixtape, Number One Angel, I think really flew under the radar too. It's a very like weird pop album, but it's very fun, it's very relaxed, and I think that was the production's great on it too. So I think that was a very good release this year that not a lot of people know about.
That song Boys got me.
Yeah.
It's just so like power pop, but the music video,
The video is so
it's
good.
It's golden. It's just put a bunch of boys into a thing, put some puppies and like anything accessorizing them, and it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do the reverse roles.
Yeah, exactly. She actually said she wanted to have more creative control over the music video because she directed that whole thing and she didn't write the song, or she like had help writing the song, and was saying that like she usually doesn't do that. She usually writes all her own songs, so she was like, I need like control over this video. Like this video was mine because the song like I didn't have as much involvement in. Which I thought was funny. Go. Yeah, so in such a politically contentious year, as we all know, did we see a lot of political albums, or do you feel like people shied away from kind of going on the defensive with politics this year?
I mean, I feel like it's a as a topic, right? Some of these newer artists, they kind of have to shy away from it because it's not like SZA or Khalid. It can't be your introduction,
Right.
Because it causes so much controversy. So it's kind of left in the hands of like some of our superstars to be like role models. And I think that 444 and Damn both kind of touched on the issues enough. They touched on a lot of issues, but in terms of the political spectrum, they both did, and I think they both did a great job at it in terms of like referencing it and saying their piece without like doing too much or like taking away from the music. They complemented each other well.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a specific album that necessarily comes to mind right away, but as an artist, I think someone that's used their like musical experience as a platform to kind of help support their political views or what they think is right is Chance. Just like along what he's been doing for like politics in Chicago, just especially through like education. I feel like that's something that's like a great use of your fame and money. He definitely represents something more than just like an artist at this point. So
Yeah, I think I couldn't think of many albums, and I thought at first, like I was like, I think people are maybe shying away from it. I think people aren't really trying to touch on it. But I think that Logic's Everybody, I think he didn't necessarily go all in on the subject. I think he more focused on like unity and like, hey, people are trying to tear us apart right now, let's come together. And Joey Badass is all American badass. He spells American with 3 Ks. He's not too shy about it. And he goes in on that album. It's a very good album.
Yeah, and I remember because I'm like thinking of the songs because you're right. It wasn't like full complete albums. Like they're referencing it on songs. I remember when I was listening to 444 for the first time and Moonlight, and he's talking about like La La Land, even when we win, we're gonna lose. Like I thought that was so interesting that he's able to like reference that so strongly and like make such a powerful statement in like 2 lines, right? But in an album that had a lot to do with like infidelity and other things, still able to reference it. And then the same thing with Kendrick in terms of like Black Lives Matter, even putting in that the soundbite of like the newscaster and things like that, and talking about how Kendrick would
When you
react.
flashback and think about it in that
Yeah.
emotion.
Right.
Give me chills the first time I heard it. I was like,
And I remember- I think it was-
Okay.
It was like, I feel like it was XXX was the track title.
yeah, the one with you too.
Right, yeah, where he was talking about like how he would react if like someone in his family was killed, like through police brutality. And I think that song, just as a whole, was very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And spoke volumes in terms of like their craft and how willing they are to like speak on these issues that a lot of people are scared to speak on.
Yeah.